Howdy, runners. Hey, welcome to my second edition of my podcast for Brian's Running Adventures. Again, I appreciate you joining me here on the internet, my little corner of the internet. Got a few questions from the first episode. Was why jump into the podcast thing? And I guess it's just my chance to explore a little bit on the internet, learn a little bit about video editing. Kind of feel like I'm running my first 10K a little bit. A lot to learn about splicing videos, editing, shortening them, mixing up audio and stuff like that. So it's just a learning adventure, as well as I just wanted to connect with the running community that's out there. There's a whole bunch of you that I get to connect with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And it just seemed like another fun place where we could connect and share stories, tell a few jokes, and just experience the whole running community. Again, it's going to be nothing fancy. Again, I'm just a mid-of-the-pack runner. Again, I'm not no professional video editor or cinematographer. It's just me with a GoPro, my little laptop here, and some kindergarten skills with a computer. But I'll see what I can turn out for you. My real goals, when it comes to my little blog, would be, number one, to try to connect with a larger population of the running community, whether it be ultra runners, marathon runners, 5 and 10K folks, or folks just for the first time looking to get outside and get some fitness, maybe lose some weight, maybe just explore and learn more about themselves as they get into a fitness kind of routine. It's also to kind of connect and share a little bit about my training and my racing experiences. Based on the East Coast, there's a lot of great races here that we get to share and we get to participate in. And I just want to kind of share with you, some of my thoughts and experiences and expectations and impressions of the races that we get to run out here. And lastly is just to kind of again stay connected with the running world. Try to helpfully inspire some folks, maybe educate, inform some folks who got some questions along the way, and just have a little bit of fun. It's going to be nothing informal, as you can already tell. I'm going to be stumbling on a word here or there. I might get a video edit wrong, but hopefully you'll enjoy it. Hopefully you'll decide to come back, and hopefully you might learn a few things, or heck, you might get in touch with me and I might learn a few things. On my training front, kind of in between a 24-hour race that we did in late April and just getting off the heels of the Cleveland Marathon. My training's been kind of up and down lately. Come out of the 24-hour race a little banged up, so I've been trying to recover and taper for the Cleveland Marathon. And then I came out of the Cleveland Marathon still a little beat up, so I got to listen to my body, got to throttle back a little bit. If you do follow me on Strava or on Facebook or Instagram, you might notice there hasn't been a lot of miles lately. It's been a lot of elliptical and some stationary bike. I just got a few little things that I got to get kind of healed up and then recover from, or maybe even diagnose, see what's going on. I got a little bit of pain in my instep on my right foot that I don't quite know what's going on, but we'll get back out there. But again, there's a whole lot more about running than just simply running the miles. And again, that's what we want to kind of share with each other here. But speaking of the Cleveland Marathon, man, we had a great time up there. My wife, Michelle, she ran the she fast walked. I say ran because that girl's quick. But she fast walked the 5K on Saturday, tore it up. It was a rainy day. I got some video I'll post later for you. And on Sunday, she came out and did the 10K. And again, blister in time. I think it was like an hour and 24 minutes. And that's an honest fast walk. She didn't kind of run in there at all. She kept 2 feet on the ground, no air time, and just powered her way through. Real proud of her. Myself, I was originally going to run the Challenge Series, which would have been an 8K on Saturday and a full marathon on Sunday. I bailed out of the 8K. Again, I had some little issues I was dealing with. I figured if I was going to beat them up, I was going to beat them up during the marathon. So on Saturday, I got to follow her around in a nice Cleveland rain shower for the 5K and did some videoing, taking pictures, stole a kiss on the race course from her, and then got to see her finish, which was a blast. On Sunday, though, I went out and did something kind of crazy, but I'll save that for my video recap of the actual Cleveland Marathon. Had a great time. Again, Michelle went out and did the 10K, ran an outstanding time. Sunday morning turned hot. It was a great race out there. So again, thank you for joining on my second episode. I want to introduce this week's blog post that goes along with this video podcast, and that is, what is running? What is running to you? What is running to me? What is running to the community? It's a little bit different for each person. I think after you read this little post, it's a quick and easy read. Might change your view on what is running. It's different to each one of us. There's no right or wrong answer, whether you're winning the race or coming in dead last. If you run, you're a runner. Heck, if you're a fast walker, you can call yourself a runner and join in with us. Because I'll tell you what, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of dedication, a lot of encouragement, a lot of pride to put yourself out there on the line and get these old bodies moving. All right, so I'll leave you now with what is running, and then we'll move on later in the podcast to the Cleveland Marathon. At the very end, I'll answer some questions from the mailbag, we'll call it, but just some questions I get online that I thought are kind of humorous and might be informative for you. So stay tuned, grab some popcorn, slice of pizza, get your puppy ready, grab your spouse, grab your neighbors, heck, call your friends you never talked to and tell them to tune in to briansrunningadventures.com. Here we are, downtown beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. This weekend we're going to take part in the Cleveland Marathon running activities. Michelle, my beautiful wife, she's going to walk a 5K on Saturday and then go ahead and do the 10K on Sunday. Myself, I signed up originally for the challenge series. That's an 8K on Saturday, followed up by a full marathon on Sunday. But to be honest with you, I'm still a little gimpy from the Virginia 24-hour ultra run against cancer. That 101 miles took a little bit out of me. Got a little bit of issue going on with my instep on my right foot. So I'm going to bail out of the 8K on Saturday, but I'm going to come out for the full on Sunday. But this full is going to be a little extra special. It's kind of a secret right now, but race day you'll definitely know where Brian is. You'll definitely know what kind of marathon this is going to be for me. I'll give you a little hint. Of course, you'll see this after the race. But Sunday morning, I'm going to be dangerous. Again, thank you for tuning in to my blog here. This week we're featuring what running is. And running is a little bit different for every one of us. For some of us, it's just a physical activity we use to fight off old age, or maybe some extra calories, or 2 or 3 slices of pizza. To me, running has really become a lifestyle, honestly. It's really who I identify with, the running Brian. It's added a lot to my life. It's added a lot of good times, good experiences, self-confidence. It's allowed me to fight off some of those demons that kind of lurk in the background. And running has really become more than just something I do. It's something I want to share and I want to experience. To me, running's all about adventure. I think about where running has taken me. You know, from the top of the world at Thule, Greenland, where I first started that running adventure, when I couldn't get on a treadmill and do 2 miles without, puffing out. I left there doing 21 miles, of course on a treadmill during the dark season. That was kind of rough. But I also did a 20-mile run up to the BMU site up near the ice fields and back. To me, running's been an adventure. It's taken me to the Grand Canyon, all around the United States, and a bunch of nice races overseas. But running is also, to me, it's also a community. Again, when I started kind of my running adventure, I was kind of a lone wolf. I'd go out by myself, log the miles, go home, and that was it. Didn't talk to anybody much about running. A little bit of online stuff. This is way before social media. There were just the forums at Running World where you could kind of post what you were doing and what you were up to and exchange information with folks. But since that time with social media and me opening up to the world, running is community. I got a ton of good friends in the running world now. A lot of folks that inspire me, mentor me, shape me, mold me, and keep me rolling. And I hope to think that I inspire and shape and mold and motivate others. Again, I'm part of a great running team that we tackle that 24-hour race every April. 12 folks. To be honest with you, that could be a team of 20 or 30 with everybody that wants to join up with us. And it's a team that doesn't let you down. If you state you've got a goal or you've got a desire or you've got an expectation of yourself, it's friends that'll keep you motivated and keep you accountable. And that, again, brings me to the biggest thing about running. Running to me is about inspiration. It's about inspiring us to live the best life we can. You know, whether that's running a 5K, 10K, or half, or going completely crazy, marathons, ultra, 100 miles. Now they're talking about these 200-mile races. Running is about inspiring and living the best life you have. Using running to help your other lives, help your family, your relationships, your professional life. You know, running has opened so many doors for me. Again, speaking with you all, folks read my blog. Again, it's just made me a better person. Here we are, downtown Cleveland, Ohio. This morning Michelle's running the 5K, and it's weird for me to be on this side of the starting corral. Man, I can't wait to see her do her thing. It's a little rainy this morning, but still a beautiful day to get out and enjoy life. She's going to be fast walking it. A bunch of runners going to be out there running. It's just a beautiful day. Are you ready to run? Let's go.
Have a great time out there. You guys are going to go so fast, you'll be dry by the time you get back.
I see my honey. Hey, puppy. I see my honey. Looking good, looking good. There she is. Wet and rainy, wet and rainy, wet and rainy. Have fun. There she goes in the rain. Here we are, midway through the Cleveland 5K. The elites have been coming by, and wow, these guys are fast. So fast, I didn't catch the first two. They're a good 2 blocks down the road. The leader's got about a 2-block lead on second place and rolling fast, man. That's what's cool about running. It's not always about the fast at the beginning of the pack. There's a lot of folks deep in this pack that are making stories for themselves. Maybe this is their first 5K. Maybe this is the first time they're getting outside, getting exercise in. Maybe they're overcoming some health issues or some challenges in life, fighting their own personal demons. Running is so much more than just the trophies and the first place finisher. To me, running is about life. It's how each one of us deals with life and our struggles. Running strong in the rain. There's my girl. It's raining. It's raining. Yay! Pour it on. Hey, honey.
Bring it on in, everybody. There's no rain over here somewhere.
That's fast. Alright, so Cleveland Marathon weekend. As I mentioned earlier, I was originally going to run the challenge series, the 8K on Saturday, the full marathon on Sunday. Got a couple little issues I was dealing with, so I bailed out of the 8K. But on Sunday was the marathon, and I knew I wasn't going to be going for a goal time, and that's fine. Sometimes you race for time, sometimes you race for fun, sometimes you race to hang out with your friends, and sometimes you run a marathon to wear your Cleveland Browns gear. Yeah, that was my little surprise. I kind of let it out there in the running community that I had something up my sleeve that this year's Cleveland Marathon wasn't going to be just an average marathon for me. Kind of hinted a little bit that I was going to do something special, and I showed up in a pair of Cleveland Brown game pants, game-used pants. Tim Couch wore them in the 2001 season, I believe. My retail jersey that I wear to all the games, number 71 with fans sent 71 across the back. And Mark Ward, defensive lineman for the Browns, game-used helmet. That and a pair of orange Nike Air Pegasus, a pair of Cleveland Brown socks, and a Trusty Wilson football. Not a regulation football, but a football just the same. And 26.2 miles later, I crossed the finish line, football in hand, and I didn't fumble it the entire time. But I'll tell you, that was a tough little race. Wearing that helmet for 26 some miles, it was hot. I think race temperature at the beginning was about 70 degrees. It got up to about 85 degrees during the race. I wore the helmet, wore the gear the entire time. The only time I took the helmet off was at the water stops, which I had to use about every one because it was darn hot to get good hydration in. Other than that, we rock and rolled and really had a great time. A lot of encouragement from the folks along the course. A lot of little kids high-fiving, wanting to touch the footballs. I actually got, I guess maybe it was the heat or it was the little kids that were inspiring me, but I ran a couple of the sections twice just so I could interact with the kids. They were high-fiving. Ran down one street and realized I passed everybody up and barely waved to them, and there was a bunch of kids sitting along the side, so I thought, it's only an extra quarter mile, let's run it again. And did a loop around and got some high fives, let the kids touch the football. A couple people wrapped me in the head and on the helmet. You know, that wasn't so cool, but still it was fun. And just had a great day out there. Got mighty hot though. About mile 19, it started to get real warm. I stopped to take a picture by the sign. We were cruising through some residential areas about mile 22 or 23. Really started to feel low, and luckily I conned a homeowner to give me a can of Coke, a nice can of cold Coke. Have put some zip back in my steps. Was able to finish up strong. Got in there the finishing chute with American flags on both sides down there in Public Square, and tried to roar the crowd on. Did the old Heisman Trophy pose at the finish line, and then spiked that Wilson football as I crossed the line in 4 hours and 45 minutes. What a blast. I was glad to get that helmet off my head. But a 47,000-yard touchdown run. Huh. How about them Browns? Go Browns. Hope you enjoy the pictures. Again, thanks for tuning into my blog. Next section will be 5 questions about what does it take to run these crazy long distances. All right. Well, thank you for sticking to the very end of my episode 2 of Brian's Running Adventures podcast. I appreciate you tuning in. Again, I thought I'd answer some questions that I get in the old mailbag. Usually, most people tend to ask is when you're running these long distances, what do you eat? That's a real personal question. I mean, I can eat just about anything. I've eaten goos, applesauce cups, chocolate pudding, bagels with peanut butter I like. Cookies, oh man, cookies are great. Anything salty, just love. Slices of pizza. Had a big old Slurpee at the 24-hour run in the middle of the day when it was hot. Potato soup, yummy. Bacon, man, that stuff's life-saving. Anything that your stomach will digest easily and that you can process. But that's important. Before you start running these big miles and races, definitely go out and test yourself on what your body can handle and what you can't handle. Last thing you want to do is try something new on race day. But food, feed you what you need to be fed. Power up what gives you energy. I eat early on and I eat through the day. What kind of shoes do I run in? That's a big question. When I started this thing about, Jiminy Crickets, 19 years ago, it was Nike Air Pegasus. I probably ran in those for about 10 years straight at every distance. Ran my first 100 mile in them. JFK, did fine. Then I got turned on to Hoka's. Love them. Nice, good, cushy shoes. Ran the old Graveyard 100 in a single pair of Hoka's. Found a little bit more cushioning in those. And they were a little bit more easy on my toes. Not so much crampage. Not so much, jamming your toes together. Never really had any issue problems with the Nikes, and that carried on in the Hoka's as well. Then I got turned on to Pearl Izumis, and I really love the Pearl Izumi brand of shoes. Unfortunately, they decided to get out of the running gig, so I had to find a new shoe. A good running friend of mine, Steve Spears, he was into Topo Athletics. Tried those on, and they felt very similar to the Pearl Izumis. And I'm a Topo guy now. That's what I run in 99% of the time. I did run in Air Pegs for the Cleveland Marathon, but that was strictly because they were orange. So give Topos a try. They're a really good shoe, but it's real personal. Do what's right for your feet. Third question is, what's on the future? Got a bunch of big run plans for this summer. Obviously, Leadville's in August. If I can get this old body healed up, we're going to go out there and take on Hope Pass again and try to get us some redemption. After that, Hinson Lake 24-hour race in September. Cape Veer 24-hour in November. Might make an appearance at JFK. Got a little project I'm working on for JFK. And then Seashore 50K in December. Need to get my 5th year done and get that 5-year buckle. Another question a lot of folks ask is, what do you do when you're not running? Well, if you've seen on my Facebook post or Instagram post, I do a lot of woodworking. I love to bass fish. I love the Cleveland Browns. And I just like to hang out with my family. I love our dogs. We lost them both in the last year, so I'm still kind of hurting from that. They're still a big part of my life, but they're just not physically here. But I just love little puppy dogs. One day we'll find another one that'll be part of our family. And finally, the last question that's most appropriate for the Cleveland Marathons is, what did you do before you did all this running? Core to me was I was a motorhead. Hot rod cars, 1970 Dodge Challenger TA edition, had a 65 Superstock Belvedere, 500, closer to 600 horsepower, 10-second car. Spent a lot of time in parking lots and car shows and drag strips. Bigger than that was I've always been a diehard Browns fan, and for a while I collected gear, team used, game used memorabilia, and that's what you see behind you here. Those are all game helmets. And this is the Mark Ward helmet that I wore for the Cleveland Marathon. I got that off a friend of Mark's. Paid a pretty penny for it. It's no cheap lightweight helmet. This is a regulation NFL helmet, and it feels every bit like a regulation helmet. If you notice the number 14 on the back, that's Otto Graham's number. This helmet was worn the season that Otto Graham passed away. You might see behind me some game balls, presentation balls that was given to players at the end of good games. my pride and joy being, well, the ball that fell down. Ah, there it is. I wanted to have it nicely displayed for you, but in touching it, I made it fall off the shelf. That's a Bernie Kosar game ball that was given to him for a game back in, I think it was 91. So I'm not running. I tinker with my Cleveland Brown stuff. I don't invest as much money in this anymore because my running hobby seems to drain my bank account. But when I'm not running, I like to fish, I like to woodwork, and I love the Cleveland Browns. So what do you do when you're not running? Let us know in the comments down there. I'd like to see what you all do when you're not logging miles and see what makes you happy. Again, thank you for tuning in for the second edition, the second episode of Brian's Running Adventures podcast, video podcast. Again, check me out at briansrunningadventures.com, Twitter at Cledogs, CLEDAWGS, same on Instagram and Facebook, Brian's Running Adventures. All right, it's time for pizza. Have a great day. Run fast, run hard, run happy, run for yourself.